Everything worth winning begins with subtraction. Not more noise, not louder voices, less presence, less proof, less permission. You will unlearn the reflex to show up, to argue, to explain, to be seen, and you will learn instead to withdraw until your return becomes an event. To bow so your fall becomes their miscalculation, to narrow your force until one strike ends the war, to read the animal before you ever touch the den. This is not charisma school. This is not courage for applause. This is the gym for the mind, a place where silence, concealment, and surgical focus build a different kind of strength, strategy muscle. Here you train to make absence create hunger, to make surrender become setup, to make focus turn into inevitability, and caution into your scalpel. You will practice the slow habits that make others rush, the small retreats that set the trap, the single obsession that bends industries, and the quiet questions that reveal wolves in suits. If you want to stop reacting and start architecting outcomes, if you want discipline sharper than drama, subscribe. Not for entertainment, for training. Build your strategy muscle every day until instinct itself becomes strategy. And in the comments, write this: I train in silence. I strike with design. Welcome to the academy. Train quiet. Move decisive. Win inevitable. Law 1. Withdraw to conquer. Turn absence into obsession. Scarcity raises value. Overexposure destroys mystique. Disappear to be desired. You bleed presence. Too much, too soon, too often. You're always online, always responding, always available, a permanent broadcast of your own importance. But constant presence breeds contempt. Your brilliance becomes wallpaper. Your insight becomes background noise. The world stops valuing what it cannot lose. Power doesn't die through defeat. It decays through familiarity. The universe runs on scarcity. Diamonds are adored not for their sparkle, but for their rarity. A limited edition watch becomes priceless because it's withheld. A private concert is legendary because few were allowed to attend. Humans obey the same physics. What's always seen becomes invisible. What's withheld becomes magnetic. You flood every room and wonder why no one looks up. You post endlessly, talk constantly, attend every meeting, and think visibility equals influence. It doesn't. The one who is everywhere becomes ordinary. The one who vanishes becomes myth. Look at leaders in any arena. One hovers, interrupts, comments on everything. At first, people notice. Then they tune him out. Another is silent, distant, appearing only when stakes are high. When she speaks, rooms fall silent. Her time feels sacred. Her words carry gravity. Her absence gives her presence weight. Machiavelli understood this long before the digital age. A prince who appears too often before his subjects invites familiarity, and familiarity breeds contempt. Distance magnifies stature. Rarity forces remembrance. When a king withdraws, the court whispers. When he lingers, they critique. Majesty survives on measured distance. Modern power proves it daily. Steve Jobs didn't appear at every launch. He reserved himself for moments that mattered. His black turtleneck was not fashion. It was ritual. His absence made his presence legendary. Rihanna vanished from music for years. Her silence became an empire of anticipation. When she returned, her presence felt divine. Contrast that with influencers who post every hour, drowning in their own noise. Their relevance burns out under the weight of their exposure. Scarcity is the new luxury. Brands that sell out in minutes become myth. CEOs who rarely give interviews make headlines with every word. Even in relationships, distance resets gravity. The one who's always available becomes static. The one who disappears becomes unforgettable. Absence is not retreat, it's control. You don't vanish because you're weak. You vanish because you're valuable. You step back to create hunger. You withhold to restore mystery. Your silence becomes your spokesperson. When you return, it feels like an event. Think of Elon Musk before each major reveal. He doesn't tweet every technical detail. He lets the silence build pressure. Then, one tweet, one unveiling, reshapes markets. That's not luck. That's the architecture of absence. Or take Beyoncé. She doesn't announce albums. She drops them unannounced. Her silence before the storm turns release day into a cultural explosion. Every absence builds suspense. Every comeback becomes history. Now, translate this law to your own world. In business, the consultant who stops chasing clients becomes the one clients chase. In leadership, the manager who speaks less commands more attention when they finally do. In relationships, the one who withdraws respectfully becomes the one remembered. Absence, when wielded deliberately, turns you from participant to prize. Here's how to use it. Withdraw deliberately. Leave before your presence dulls. Let curiosity echo in your absence. Make access costly. The easier you are to reach, the less you're worth. Control your cadence. Speak less. Appear rarely. Move unpredictably. Familiarity kills reverence. Use silence as punctuation. What you don't say adds weight to what you do. And when you return with spectacle. Every comeback must over-deliver. Every reappearance should rewrite the story. You crave attention like oxygen. You confuse noise with relevance. That need to be seen is your undoing. You chase visibility and forfeit value. You become common through overexposure, a permanent performance no one applauds. Learn restraint. Let curiosity work for you. Force the world to miss you. Absence demands discipline. It is delayed gratification turned into a weapon. The weak flood the room to prove they exist. The powerful withdraw to prove they don't need to. Patience turns silence into anticipation. Anticipation turns into influence. Master invisibility, and your presence becomes currency. Withhold, and you are hunted. Control your frequency, and you control perception. Because in power, as in nature, the rare become the revered. Withdraw, wait, reappear. Every disappearance should make your return an event. Disappear wisely, and watch the world pay for your presence.
Hey guys, we're Strategy, based in Abu Dhabi. We use AI tools to make these concepts come to life, but it's our amazing team who goes deep, breaking down powerful philosophical ideas and showing how they really apply in everyday life. We hope you enjoyed today's content.
Law 2. Bow, then break. Turn surrender into your strike. Yield to gain the next hand. Pride makes you fight when logic says stop. You burn allies, capital, and credibility just to prove you weren't the first to bend. Pathetic. Power isn't about how long you can resist. It's about how fast you can reposition after the fall. Strategic surrender is not defeat, it's redirection. It's the art of losing a battle to win the war. You fight to the last breath for appearances, for ego, for the illusion of control. You think endurance is strength, but the battlefield doesn't reward martyrs. It rewards survivors. The clever bow when the tide is against them, not in shame, but in calculation. When you yield, you preserve strength. You buy time. You study. You wait for the inevitable crack in the victor's armor. Machiavelli called it prudence. The wise ruler surrenders when defeat is certain, not to escape but to prepare. The prince who retreats lives to strike later. He keeps his army. He keeps his people. The one who refuses to bend leaves a corpse for rivals to divide. Surrender is not confession, it's camouflage. History and modern life are full of examples of this hidden power. Netflix didn't try to outspend Blockbuster. They pulled back into a small niche, studied the future, and waited. When streaming became possible, they returned unstoppable. Their surrender was research. After his humiliating defeat in 1960, Richard Nixon appeared finished. But while the world moved on, he was rebuilding his alliances, learning his voters, and sharpening his strategy. 8 years later, he walked into the White House. His surrender was a disguise. A smart litigator concedes early, saving reputation and capital. The courtroom calls it settlement. But behind the scenes, it's a tactical reset, a pause to gather stronger evidence and strike again. Even in daily life, it works the same way. The manager who exits gracefully when a company collapses is often invited back later, as a consultant earning more than before. The loud rebel is forgotten. The silent strategist returns stronger. This is not weakness, it's rhythm. Contract to expand, retreat to bait. The snake coils before it strikes. The lion backs off before the pounce. In the world of power, setups win, not stubborn heroics. Here's how to use it. Make surrender symbolic, not total. Concede visible ground, but protect your core. Let them think you're wounded while your strength regroups. Preserve liquidity, close side ventures, protect cash, and never burn bridges you might cross again. Study their victory. Watch morale, leadership, logistics, and habits. The moment they relax, you have your opening. Turn concession into moral leverage. A graceful exit builds sympathy. Sympathy builds allies. Time your comeback when their confidence blinds them. When the crowd sleeps, return, and always use legal and contractual armor, settlements, clauses, reserved rights. The paperwork of surrender hides the seed of revenge. Even Apple once looked finished. In the 1990s, Steve Jobs returned to a company near death. Instead of fighting Microsoft, Apple surrendered, even took a $150 million investment from its rival. But that surrender bought time. Within 5 years, Apple reinvented itself and dominated the industry. Their surrender was the setup for a revolution. This law is a test of ego. You cling to fights for vanity, mistaking stubbornness for honor. That's not power, that's insecurity. The man who cannot bend will break. Burned bridges, drained capital, ruined reputations, all trophies of pride. Learn to despise theatrics. Train your spine to bend, not snap. Discipline the impulse to win now. Survive first, win later. Strategic surrender requires inner silence. Control your pride. Delay gratification. Let the world think it has beaten you while you quietly rebuild. The calmer your nerve, the sharper your counterstrike. When your will is steady, your surrender becomes a trap. Your silence becomes a stage. Your absence becomes preparation. Dominate yourself first, then the world follows. Let them think you're finished. Then finish them on your terms. Fall on purpose. Rise by design. Surrender is not the end. It's the half step that sets up the final blow. Law 3. Concentrate your forces. Pick one battlefield. Overwhelm it. Diffusion is defeat. Power doesn't vanish overnight. It evaporates. Drop by drop. Distraction by distraction. Every new opportunity looks like expansion, but most are just escape routes disguised as ambition. You start 10 fires and wonder why none of them burn. You half finish everything and call it hustle. That's not ambition. That's diffusion, the slow bleed of potential into dust. You say yes to everything, every deal, every call, every half-promise of gold, but in that noise your energy fractures, your attention splinters. You become everywhere and effective nowhere. Because power doesn't multiply through motion, it compounds through focus. Machiavelli saw this centuries ago. He wrote that the wise ruler must direct all his resources, every soldier, every coin, every heartbeat, toward one decisive strike. Not 10-1. A prince who divides his army loses through exhaustion, but the one who concentrates his forces wins before the battle even begins. Discipline, not diversity, builds empires. And sometimes, not being good, as Machiavelli warned, means refusing distractions that look virtuous, but waste the blow that could have ended the war. History obeys this law like gravity. When Steve Jobs returned to Apple, the company was drowning. 350 products, no focus, no fire. He took a blade to it, cut nearly everything. Left 4. A consumer desktop, a pro desktop, a consumer laptop, a pro laptop. That ruthless clarity birthed the iMac, the iPod, and later the iPhone. Focus didn't shrink Apple, it made it inevitable. Elon Musk didn't build Tesla, SpaceX, and PayPal at once. He built one empire at a time. PayPal conquered, sold. Then SpaceX, every dollar, every ounce of will poured into one mission. Almost lost it. Then won. Only then did he turn to Tesla. Power builds in sequence, not in scatter. Alexander the Great didn't divide his army across 10 borders. He identified one, Persia, the world's central power. He struck there, completely, brutally. Once Persia fell, the rest bowed. One strike, total dominance. Even in the digital age, the principle doesn't bend. The YouTuber chasing 10 niches, tech, fitness, motivation, finance, becomes no one's favorite in anything. But the one who masters a single domain becomes a category unto himself. Mr. Beast didn't scatter. He obsessed. He dug one trench so deep the world had to look down. Depth before width, mastery before expansion. Focus is leverage. One niche, one patron, one profit vein. Mine it until the gold gives way, then dig deeper. Netflix did the same. While others chased retail, they owned one lane, convenience. Mailing DVDs, then they pivoted, streaming. Then again to content creation. Each move was total war in one direction. Never scatter, always sequence. You don't need 10 swords, you need one, sharpened to end the fight. So find your richest vein, the one place where an hour of your effort creates 10 hours of effect. Cut the side quests, say no, ruthlessly, to distractions dressed as opportunity. Stack every resource, time, money, talent, focus, behind the one decisive strike that moves the world. Don't measure success by how many arenas you enter. Measure it by how completely you dominate one, because intensity beats extensity. Depth makes you inevitable. History remembers conquerors, not wanderers. So stop scattering your strength. Pick your battlefield. Pour everything into it until even the ground remembers your name. Law 4. Measure the wolf before you kick the den. Don't swagger into fights you don't understand. Know the animal you provoke. Not every enemy collapses the same way. Some howl, lick their wounds, and vanish. Others keep accounts. They file dates in memory and vengeance in ledger form. Misread temperament and a petty slight becomes a lifetime problem. The wrong person remembers names, cultivates allies, and spends years paying you back in ways you never saw coming. Learn character before you act, or prepare to be undone by a history you never bothered to read. Your arrogance is the most dangerous thing you own. You assume forgiveness. You assume everyone values the same currency. An apology, a check, a bruised ego. Pathetic. Offend the litigious, and subpoenas fill your calendar. Offend the honor-bound, and your insult is memorialized by men who convert insult into obligation. Offend the networked founder, and watch doors close you never knew existed. That's not drama. It's predictable consequence. This is not moralizing. It is survival math. Machiavelli did not counsel cruelty for sport. He counseled knowledge as armor. A prince who mistakes patient hatred for humility invites knives. Some enemies are slow storms, others are quick fires. Both will kill you if you misread them. Look at how the modern world hides wolves in suits. Business. Humiliate a senior partner publicly to show strength. Then watch them quietly take clients, teams, and revenue out the back door. You thought the spectacle cemented authority. It built an exit route. Legal. Trash a rival's ethics on social media. If that rival is a litigator, your tweet becomes discovery, subpoenas, and bills. Viral humiliation becomes a financial trap. Political. Ridicule an influential community leader at a town hall. That leader will marshal donors and voters. Next election, your margin evaporates. Personal. Betray a friend who keeps long accounts. They do not strike immediately. They wait. Later, they control the post, the hire, the connection that replaces you. Before you act, map the terrain. Ask blunt questions. Who has legal muscle? Who has cash? Who keeps favors? Who keeps grudges? Who can call a regulator, a board member, or a donor, and change your world with one conversation? If you are unsure, probe, but probe small. Send a private question, make a low-stakes request, drop a soft trial balloon, watch reflexes. Proportional reaction means risk is manageable. Quiet, calculating response means danger. Back away or prepare containment. When you must strike, do it like a surgeon. Public insults are cheap and stick in your own flank. Use private leverage. Cut supply lines quietly. Retract approvals without spectacle. Freeze access behind legal seals. Use contracts and non-competes. Close the battlefield. Make the outcome final and unromantic. Finality removes sequel. Always check for allies beyond the frame. The person you offend rarely acts alone. They summon patrons, regulators, boards, and networks you didn't see. One phone call from the wrong contact and audits start. Deals stall. Investments vanish. The cost of miscalculation is not only pride, it is strategic paralysis. Tactical micro moves you can deploy now. Build a one-page dossier before confrontation. Recent wins, legal history, key allies, and likely reprisals. Run a soft probe. A private message, a harmless concession, a small offer. Gauge reflexes. Convert public friction into private settlement. Pay, negotiate terms, secure releases quietly. Small cost now beats ruin later. Use intermediaries for hard news so the blow lands without making an enemy of the messenger. If you engage, ensure the target lacks the means to destroy you, legally, financially, reputationally. If they do, either don't act or lock down containment. Measure like a surgeon, cut like one too. Choose your wars as he chooses incisions, precise, necessary, conscious of the arteries you may sever. A careless insult is easy. Surviving the consequences is not. Mastery of this law starts inside. Temper your pride. Train patience. Cultivate the habit of listening before speaking. The ability to read motive and measure temperament is an internal skill, a discipline of restraint and curiosity. Sharpen that skill and you control the tempo of escalation. Hesitate when you must. Strike when you have advantage. Internal mastery produces external domination. When your instincts are disciplined, you choose battles that extend power rather than squander it. The man who can sit silent and gather facts bends circumstance to his will. He converts knowledge into leverage. He neutralizes enemies before they become tragedies. Control yourself first, then make sure the world bows second. Measure the wolf before you kick the den. If you misread him, plan a retreat with a ledger, not a panic.
Thanks for spending time with us. If this sparked a new way of thinking, hit like and subscribe to keep the ideas flowing. And don't forget, check the description for the links to the original books and resources we used today. We'll see you in the next one.